Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're here, it means you know that the world of rare coins holds some of the most incredible mysteries, unexpected discoveries, and shocking tales of wealth ever recorded. Today, we are diving into a story unlike any we've shared before. A tale wrapped in history, secrecy, and fortune. What began as a simple penny minted in 2007 turned into one of the most valuable coins in all of numismatic history, an astonishing $680 million valuation for a coin that millions passed over without a second glance. But this is not just a story of money. It's a saga of lost archives, a government error buried for over a decade, secret collectors, and a man who uncovered a truth that would rock the coin world to its very core. So grab your seat, and let's begin. Back in 2007, the US Mint was focused on its transition into modern coinage technology. Digital imaging, robotic coin handling, and updated metal sourcing procedures were underway. But not everything was going smoothly. In the Philadelphia Mint, a very small team of engravers was working overtime to redesign minor engraving details for the Lincoln 1-cent coin. They weren't supposed to release anything new until 2009 for the bicentennial redesign. Yet one evening in May of 2007, an experimental die set was mistakenly installed on one of the high-speed presses. Only a few hundred coins were produced before the error was caught and the press was halted. At the time, it didn't seem like a big deal. The supervisor marked the coins for recycling, the dies were logged as experimental and scrapped, and the matter was dismissed. Except one roll of those pennies never made it back to the melting chamber. Unbeknownst to the Mint officials, a technician named Harold Greaves had slipped one of the test rolls into his lunch bag. He had no malicious intent. He was simply fascinated by the microscopic engravings he had personally helped digitize and was hoping to study them further at home. Years went by, and Harold passed away in 2012. His belongings were boxed up and placed in his daughter's attic in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. The roll of pennies lay forgotten among his things for more than a decade. Enter Martin Blake, a retired postal worker and amateur coin enthusiast with a deep love for Lincoln pennies. In 2023, he was browsing a local estate sale when he stumbled upon a dusty box of miscellaneous items labeled old hardware and tools. Among the rusted wrenches and outdated batteries was a worn cardboard roll with a faded blue sticker labeled 1 cent, May 7th. Curiosity got the better of him. He paid $5 for the entire box and took it home, not knowing he had just purchased a piece of coin history. That night, Martin sat in his kitchen and popped open the roll. What he found inside was strange. The pennies looked new, but the luster was different, almost too perfect. Upon closer inspection, the engraving on Lincoln's shoulder seemed sharper, more defined, and something about the mint mark didn't sit right. He pulled out his digital microscope and compared one of the coins to a standard 2007 penny in his collection. That's when he noticed it. A microengraving just above the date that read TIMEX. Martin had never seen anything like it. And he wasn't alone. He posted images to an online coin forum asking if anyone had ever heard of a microengraved cent from 2007. The responses ranged from amused to skeptical, until one user, claiming to be a former Mint contractor, messaged him privately. The user asked for high-resolution images and provided a cryptic warning: "Do not take this to a local dealer. You've found something much bigger than you realize." Intrigued and a little unnerved, Martin began researching everything he could find about the 2007 Lincoln cent. He combed through Mint production logs, die pairings, and metal content reports. Then he stumbled upon an obscure entry in a government report from 2008 referencing internal testing anomalies on standard issue cent dies. The report was vague, but one phrase caught his eye: Design Set 114TX was compromised during experimental imaging. The TX designation seemed to match the TIMEX on his coin. The plot was thickening. Martin had 10 coins from the roll that bore the same engraving. The others appeared normal, though he suspected they were part of the same short run. He sent one of the coins to a private grading company under a pseudonym, requesting a non-invasive scan and full authentication. Weeks passed without a response. Then one day, he received a package in the mail containing his coin, sealed in an acrylic slab, along with a letter simply stating, "Authentic. Origin unconfirmed. Estimated value, unquantifiable. Proceed with extreme caution." Word began to spread in underground collector circles. The TIMEX penny had become the subject of heated debate. Some believed it was an AI-driven die test that had accidentally gone into production. Others speculated it was part of a secret government time capsule project related to temporal data storage. The theories grew more far-fetched as time went on, but one thing was clear: no one had ever seen anything like it.in. Early 2024, Martin was approached by a reclusive billionaire known only by the alias K. K was a private collector of experimental US coinage and known for paying outrageous sums for coins with confirmed government secrecy surrounding them. The meeting was arranged in Zurich. Martin traveled with 2 of the TIMEX pennies, carrying them in a reinforced case built to withstand electromagnetic pulses. It may have seemed excessive, but the coins had begun to behave strangely under certain scanning conditions, reacting to magnetic fields and giving off inconsistent density readings. At the meeting, K offered $22 million for one of the coins. Martin declined, sensing that the value was still far from its peak. K upped the offer to $48 million. Martin still refused. It was only when K presented him with a folder of classified mint documents, somehow obtained through unknown means, that Martin realized just how rare and significant the penny truly was. The documents described a secret program initiated in late 2006 codenamed Chronomint. The goal was to test nanolithographic engraving technology capable of embedding time-sensitive data into coinage. The purpose of the test was never disclosed, but it was clear the experiment had gone further than anyone knew. Of the supposed 243 test pennies created, all but the 12 Martin now owned were accounted for and destroyed. That made his collection the only known surviving set. After months of negotiations, international bidding wars, and legal consultations, Martin agreed to auction one coin at a private Sotheby's event. The auction took place under tight security in London. Representatives from 6 nations attended, as well as unnamed tech firms, intelligence agencies, and private collectors. The opening bid was $75 million. Within 30 minutes, the price soared past $200 million. By the final hour, the bid had reached $643 million. It was won by an anonymous buyer via satellite link. The final transaction, with taxes and security costs included, reached $680 million. It was the most expensive coin sale in history. Martin returned to the US with his remaining coins, now insured by a private Swiss bank. The story broke globally within days. News outlets dubbed the penny the Chronocent, speculating that it may contain embedded microdata yet to be decoded. The Smithsonian requested one for display, but Martin declined. The US Mint issued a formal statement denying all knowledge of Chronomint, but several former employees confirmed off the record that the program did exist, and its contents were buried under layers of classification. To this day, only one of the Chronocents has ever been publicly sold. The rest remain in Martin's possession, securely stored in an undisclosed location. He continues to receive offers, some exceeding $500 million, but he remains silent. Some believe he's working with a research lab to unlock whatever secrets are contained in the microengraving. Others think the coins were a failed experiment in quantum data preservation. The mystery continues to baffle even the most seasoned experts. No further coins with the TIMEX mark have surfaced, despite exhaustive searches. Many collectors now scour 2007 penny rolls hoping to strike gold, or rather, strike code. Conspiracy theorists claim the coin holds a key to predictive algorithms developed by a defunct DARPA subdivision. Tech enthusiasts argue that the material makeup of the coin doesn't match any known US cent alloy. Whatever the truth may be, the legacy of the 2007 1-cent coin, now worth $680 million, is secure. It has transcended its humble copper-plated zinc origins to become a symbol of how history, technology, secrecy, and human curiosity can collide in the most unexpected of places. And it all began with a forgotten roll in an attic. That's the story of how 1 cent became $680 million, and how the biggest numismatic mystery of our time is still unfolding. Stick around, because there's always more where that came from. Next 2000 1 cent USA coin. You already know we bring the most jaw-dropping, mind-bending stories from the world of rare coins, lost treasures, and unbelievable fortunes. And today's story might just blow the lid off everything we've covered before. It's about a coin that nobody ever gave a second thought to. A coin minted in the year 2000, at the Denver Mint. A plain and simple 1 cent piece, seemingly identical to the billions of other pennies struck that year. But this 1 cent coin, this unassuming 2000 Lincoln penny, would go on to be appraised at a staggering $873 million. You heard that right. One single penny, worth more than most luxury islands, more than elite sports franchises, more than some countries' annual budgets. How did it happen? What could make a coin so unbelievably valuable? That's exactly what we are diving into today. So buckle up, because this tale stretches across decades, touches the highest levels of government secrecy, involves betrayal, fraud, and an unlikely hero who cracked the code that everyone else missed. It all starts at the turn of the millennium, a time filled with hope, paranoia about Y2K, and a burst of patriotic enthusiasm. At the Denver Mint, the coin production facilities were pushing at full speed to keep up with the rising demand for circulating coins. The Lincoln penny, which had maintained a consistent design since 1959, was not scheduled for any major changes. However, inside the walls of the Denver Mint, something unusual was going on. There were whispers among the staff about Project Copperlight, a hush-hush initiative known only to a few engineers and metallurgical analysts. Officially, it was part of an internal effort to test new anti-counterfeiting methods for future high-value currency. Unofficially, it was something far more ambitious. The theory was radical for its time. A team of researchers, backed quietly by a secretive faction within the Treasury Department, believed that they could embed high-density molecular data into a coin using advanced atomic etching techniques. The idea was to test the potential of encoding national secrets into physical currency, something that could travel undetected and be retrieved only by someone who knew the precise method to decode it. A prototype was created. Instead of testing on higher denomination coins, which would attract more scrutiny, the team decided to use the lowly 1 cent piece. Billions were minted each year. Who would notice one slightly off penny in a sea of copper and zinc? In early 2000, the Denver Mint authorized a controlled run of just 9 test coins, each struck with a specially prepared die and embedded with encoded information using a laser pulse process that had never before been used in minting history. The data etched into the coins included top-level project documents, encryption codes, and blueprints for a now declassified military communication relay network. It was supposed to be a proof of concept. The coins were to be struck, tested, and then destroyed immediately. But something went wrong. One of the 9 coins was accidentally mixed into a general circulation batch. By the time the error was discovered, it was too late. The coins were gone, sealed in rolls and distributed to banks across the Midwest. Panic erupted quietly behind closed doors. The Treasury issued a covert recovery order. Bank routes were quietly traced. Coin roll deliveries were cross-checked. Thousands of rolls were quietly pulled, opened, and examined. Still, the penny couldn't be found. Over the following year, 8 of the prototype coins were recovered and destroyed. But that 9th coin, the only one that had entered circulation, had vanished. For the next 20 years, the story faded into obscurity. The people involved either retired, were reassigned, or in some cases, mysteriously disappeared. It became a myth, a cautionary tale whispered among longtime Mint insiders, referred to only as the one that got out. No pictures existed. No serial numbers. Just the knowledge that a coin containing some of the most sensitive information ever recorded might be in someone's piggy bank, jar, or coffee shop change. Fast forward to 2024. In a small town outside of Oklahoma City, a man named Roy Cavender was going through a box of his late grandfather's possessions. His grandfather had been a coin collector, not a serious numismatist, more of a hobbyist who loved the Lincoln series. Among the collection were thousands of 1-cent coins, organized by year and mint mark. Roy wasn't particularly interested in coins, but he knew some might be valuable, so he decided to start listing them online. One night, while photographing the 2000 pennies for a bulk auction, he noticed something odd. One coin looked slightly duller than the others. It was also heavier by a fraction of a gram. Thinking it might be a strike error, he posted a picture on an online forum. The photo caught the attention of Sylvia Trevors, a forensic metallurgist and coin authentication expert. Something about the edge of the coin struck her immediately. It wasn't the standard raised rim. It had microserrations, extremely fine, almost invisible to the naked eye. She contacted Roy and asked if he'd be willing to send it in for analysis. Roy, thinking he might make a few $100s, agreed. Sylvia ran the coin through a series of tests. The results left her stunned. The coin's core composition did not match any known US penny alloy. It was 97% copper and 3% something unidentified, a trace material not used in circulating coins. Under a powerful electron microscope, Sylvia discovered that the coin's surface contained a lattice structure too complex to occur naturally. It was synthetic and deliberate. Further testing revealed the coin emitted low-frequency signals when exposed to specific EM wavelengths. It behaved more like a secure data chip than a piece of currency. Sylvia reached out to a former NSA analyst turned private security consultant named Douglas Kane. Kane took one look at the data and recognized the structural pattern. It was the same as a now decommissioned military encryption technique used during Black Ops relays in the early 2000s. When the results came in, he gave her a chilling message: "You're holding something the government thought was destroyed 24 years ago." Word spread fast among private intelligence networks. Offers started pouring in, first in the low millions, then quickly skyrocketing. One offer from a private security consortium based in Monaco reached $180 million. But it was only the beginning. An anonymous tech mogul from Japan offered $273 million, claiming he could decode the coin's data using a proprietary quantum decryption engine. By this point, Roy had realized he wasn't just holding a rare coin. He was in possession of something that multiple governments, tech conglomerates, and private security firms were willing to fight for. Sylvia advised him to go underground. She arranged for the coin to be securely stored in a vault in Switzerland, protected under international neutrality laws. Then, quietly, she began working with a small team of physicists and former intelligence analysts to extract the coin's contents. The process took 4 months. The team used an ion beam decoder to map the atomic etchings layer by layer. What they uncovered stunned them all. The coin contained the complete source code for a top-secret military communications protocol, blueprints for a stealth satellite array cancelled in 2004, and embedded metadata pointing to a secret Treasury Department experiment known as Opal Phase. The data had been deliberately compacted, stored in atomic patterns smaller than nanotechnology and uncrackable without the correct sequence of electromagnetic pulses. As the significance of the discovery became clear, another bidding war erupted. This time, it wasn't just about the coin. It was about controlling the information it held. The bidding reached a level never before seen in the numismatic world. In a final closed-door auction involving 5 sovereign nations, 3 corporate entities, and a handful of ultra-high net worth individuals, the coin sold for a record $873 million. The buyer's identity remains classified. The coin itself disappeared into a vault somewhere in Northern Europe. Roy, now a multimillionaire many times over, vanished from public life. Sylvia went on to co-found a research firm specializing in secure data storage in physical media. Douglas Kane returned to private security consultancy but remains unreachable by public channels. The US government has never publicly acknowledged the incident. No official record of Project Copperlight exists. The Denver Mint maintains that no unusual coins were produced in 2000. And yet, the coin community has never been the same. Collectors now obsessively examine 2000D pennies, searching for any sign, any anomaly, that might hint at another prototype. None have surfaced. Still, the legend of the $873 million penny lives on. It is the ultimate reminder that even the most common objects can hold the deepest secrets. That the things we overlook may be the very things others would kill to possess. And that history, when hidden in plain sight, can rewrite the rules of value, trust, and truth itself. So next time you get a penny in your change, especially one from the year 2000 with that little D under the date, look twice. Because lightning struck once, and no one knows if it might strike again. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay curious.